If you're counting on Social Security for retirement, the next 60 seconds could save you thousands of dollars. Three major changes are hitting Social Security in 2026, and most retirees have no idea what's coming. In this video, I'll break down exactly what these changes mean for your monthly benefits, how much more you might pay in taxes, and why a simple terminology change could be costing you money without you even knowing it. Plus, I'll reveal the shocking truth about retirement costs across America that Social Security simply can't cover. Welcome to Financial Area, where we break down complex financial topics so you can make smarter money decisions. If this information helps you, smash that like button and subscribe for more retirement planning insights you won't find anywhere else. Right now, there's a bipartisan group of senators working behind the scenes to change how Social Security talks to you. And before you roll your eyes thinking this is just political theater, hear me out, because the words they use could influence you to make decisions that cost you tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. Senators Bill Cassidy, Susan Collins, Tim Kaine, and Chris Coons have reintroduced a bill that would completely overhaul Social Security's terminology. Instead of calling age 62 your early eligibility age, they want to call it your minimum monthly benefit age. Your full retirement age would become your standard monthly benefit age, and waiting until 70 would be called your maximum monthly benefit age. Now, you might think this is just bureaucratic word shuffling, but there's actually some serious psychology at play here. When you hear early retirement, it sounds like you're getting a head start, maybe even being smart about it. But when you hear minimum monthly benefit, suddenly it feels like you're settling for less. That's exactly what these senators are counting on. They want to nudge more Americans toward delaying their Social Security claims until age 70, when monthly benefits reach their maximum. And from a pure numbers perspective, they're not wrong. If you can afford to wait, you'll get significantly more money each month for the rest of your life. But here's the reality check that politicians often miss. Most people don't claim Social Security early because they're confused about the terminology. They claim it because they need the money. Period. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, or you've been laid off in your 60s, or you're dealing with health issues, waiting until age 70 isn't a luxury you can afford, no matter what fancy words the government uses to describe your options. The truth is, this terminology bill is just another proposal in a long line of Social Security fixes that don't actually fix the core problem. Benefits aren't keeping up with the real cost of living. While politicians debate word choices, retirees are making tough decisions about whether to pay for groceries or prescription medications. So here's what you need to know. Don't let new terminology cloud your judgment. Your claiming strategy should be based on your financial situation, your health, your family history, and your other retirement resources, not on whether the government calls it early or minimum. Now let's talk about the three concrete changes that are actually happening in 2026, starting with the one that affects every single Social Security recipient. The cost of living adjustment, or COLA, for 2026 has been set at 2.7%, and I can already hear the collective sigh from retirees across America, because frankly, it's not nearly enough. Let me break down what this actually means in real dollars. If you're receiving the average Social Security benefit of about $2,002 per month, this 2.7% increase will bump you up to $2,056. That's an extra $54 per month, or about $648 for the entire year. For spouses and survivors, the increases are even smaller. We're talking about $26 to $43 per month, depending on your category. That's barely enough to cover the increase in your monthly grocery bill, let alone keep up with rising costs across the board. And here's what's really frustrating. While Social Security uses the official Consumer Price Index to calculate COLA, many retirees are experiencing inflation that's much higher than what the government reports. When you're spending a large portion of your fixed income on essentials like housing, food, and healthcare, which have all seen dramatic price increases, a 2.7% bump feels like a slap in the face. Some advocates are pushing for a flat 10% annual COLA increase, arguing that it would better reflect the real-world expenses that seniors face. But so far, that proposal hasn't gained traction in Washington. The bottom line is this: if you're planning to rely heavily on Social Security, you need to factor in that these modest COLA increases probably won't keep pace with your actual living expenses. That $54 monthly increase might sound okay today, But in a world where rent, utilities, and groceries keep climbing, it's not going to cut it. The second major change affects higher earners, and it's going to cost them more money. Social Security is funded through payroll taxes, but here's the catch. You only pay Social Security taxes on income up to a certain cap. In 2025, that cap is $176,100, but in 2026, it's jumping to $183,000. What does this mean? If you earn above $183,000 next year, you won't pay Social Security taxes on anything above that amount. But if you're earning between the old cap and the new cap, so between $176,100 and $183,000, you're going to pay an additional $465 in Social Security taxes for the year. Now, this might not sound like a huge deal if you're in that income bracket, but it highlights a much bigger debate about Social Security funding. During his campaign, President Biden proposed raising the cap all the way to $400,000, which would have significantly increased the program's revenue. But that proposal has been sitting on the shelf. Critics argue that the current system is fundamentally unfair. If you make $180,000 a year, you pay Social Security taxes on every dollar you earn. But if you make $500,000 a year, you only pay Social Security taxes on the first $183,000. The remaining $317,000 is completely exempt. This creates a situation where middle and upper middle class earners carry a disproportionate tax burden compared to the truly wealthy. And it's one of the reasons why Social Security faces long-term funding challenges. For most viewers watching this, the payroll tax cap increase won't directly affect you, but it's important to understand because it shows how the system works and why meaningful Social Security reform is so difficult to achieve. The third change is actually good news for people who want to work while collecting Social Security benefits early. The earnings limits are going up, which means you can make more money before your benefits get reduced. Here's how it works. If you claim Social Security before your full retirement age and you're still working, there are limits on how much you can earn. Go over those limits, and Social Security starts withholding some of your benefits. In 2026, if you haven't reached full retirement age yet, you can earn up to $24,360 before any benefits are withheld. That's up from $23,400 in 2025. For every $2 you earn above that limit, Social Security withholds $1 of your benefits. If you're reaching full retirement age in 2026, your limit is much higher, $64,880, up from $62,160. But the penalty is a bit different. For every $3 you earn above that limit, they withhold $1 of benefits. Now, here's the important part that many people don't understand. These withheld benefits aren't lost forever. Once you reach full retirement age, Social Security recalculates your benefit to account for the months when benefits were withheld, and your monthly payment goes up accordingly. But in the short term, having benefits withheld can create cash flow problems, especially if you're counting on that Social Security check to pay your bills. The increased earnings limits for 2026 give you a bit more breathing room. But you still need to be strategic about how much you work and earn. If you're considering working while claiming Social Security early, run the numbers carefully. Sometimes it makes sense to earn right up to the limit. Other times, you might be better off either working more and accepting the temporary benefit reduction or working less to stay under the threshold. Now, let's zoom out and talk about the elephant in the room. All of these Social Security changes, the modest COLA increase, the higher payroll tax cap, the increased earnings limits, they're all just tinkering around the edges of a much bigger problem. The reality is that Social Security alone is not enough for most Americans to retire comfortably. And the gap between what Social Security provides and what retirement actually costs is absolutely staggering. A recent study calculated how much money you'd need for a comfortable retirement at age 60 in each state, and the numbers are eye-opening. In Alabama, you'd need about $70,500 per year. In Arkansas and Louisiana, it's around $67,000. Those are the cheapest states. But look at the expensive ones. California requires about $155,000 per year for a comfortable retirement. Hawaii tops the list at $186,000 annually. Even middle-of-the-road states like New York need $105,000, and New Jersey requires $118,000. Now, remember that the average Social Security benefit is just over $2,000 per month. That's about $24,000 per year. Even in the cheapest states, Social Security covers less than half of what you need for a comfortable retirement. In expensive states, it's not even close.